Choudhury. He is an internationally recognized academic and researcher in the field of rural development. It's a very important, of course, important field for us. He had done his PhD and Masters in Rural Development from Vishwabharati University, West Bengal. Currently, he is with Northeastern Regional Center, National Institute of Rural Development, and Panchayati Raj, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. Earlier, he was faculty, Department of Rural Studies, Tripura University, and State Institute of Rural Development, Tripura. He is an author, editor of 13 books and more than 50 research articles. He also served as associate editor for journals. He has led various international funded development projects in India and Bangladesh. Received Global Award, Best Professor in Rural Development from World Education Conference Congress 2015 and Board Outlook Learner Teacher Award in 2006 from Air India, Mumbai. Active board member of various civil society organizations, including Financial Inclusion Trust under the aegis of Bandhan Bank, Kolkata. Recognized as an expert of inclusive policy led by UNESCO. Fantastic. Welcome to our, Associate Professor Jayanta Choudhury. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now is all right. Good to see you.
Thank you. Okay. Are you getting my presentation?
Yeah, we got it.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. This is okay. Already discussed. Already introduced myself. Little bit discussion or introduction of our organization is a National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, and this National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj under Ministry of Rural Development, and it's also the center of excellence in the field of rural development and globally recognized institution. And this institution is we used to provide capacity building support to the various stakeholders in and abroad also. Particularly SIRDAP countries and ARDO countries also, where the Asia and Africa countries, where rural development is mainly a major issue. And we also conduct a lot of evaluation studies, give feedback and the policy support system to Ministry of Rural Development, various countries as well as India. Framing guidelines, new schemes, designing on that. So related to rural development, we are the key institution for India, as well as other countries, particularly, as I told you, Asian and African countries. And another thrust of our areas, you know, that Panchayati Raj in Indian system, but it is in other area, it's a local government in Bangladesh and other parts also. That local government, basically, everything we believe that Panchayati Raj, which came into existence in India by 73rd Amendment of the Constitution during 1992, but local government is exist all over world, I think, and both urban and rural areas. So we focus on rural areas, and the local government is the pillar to streamline all the rural development schemes and other things to reach to the rural people. Now, in the context of Northeastern, I belong to the Northeastern Regional Center. It's covering 8 Northeastern states, which having surrounding many countries like Bangladesh, obviously one of our area. Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Bhutan, China is a bordering there. So, as a Indian active policies, India is looking for that up to Australia, that highway and other way to link all the countries, particularly BMIC corridor also. So Northeastern Regional Center is focusing on the Southeast Asian countries, and in that connection, it is good that I also got the opportunity, and I came in this board of South Asian Institute of Sustainable Development, and thanks to Dr. Kuntal and particularly my colleague and friend Satto. So we are here now. Already so much of discussion, because I am also faculty of university. From that background, I came to this national institution. So much discussion on what to do on the research and elaborately. So I'm not going all those detail on research and mitigate. I will little bit concentrate on SDGs issues related to even particularly on the data, because when we go for the SDG, even I thought that SDG will be the core center of discussion of today. So we made that data ecosystem, what is there and how it is happening, mainly we will try to make in the context of SDG. So with that, you know that if we talk about the data, and I go to the full screen. Okay. If we talk about the data, then these 5 layers are required, which is interrelated and apparently stage wise. If you say the first is that, because any kinds of decision or planning in the part of any research, you are well aware, but particularly in the SDG, what it is already concentrated on the SDG in the global level. It's a global issue, but we are focusing on localizing SDG. That is our thrust. Localizing SDG in the context of rural development, in the context of developing countries. We are trying to how that SDG can be localized. It should not be only from that international organization, only for the government department, higher official we will discuss in the forum. But it is very much relevant how we can make this discussion, the SDG goal, in the down level, in the localization as an issue. Sorry. Please. Sorry, my daughter is also very much interested on this, the sustainability percolating to the generation. Anyway, the meaning is, the first is that data collection. If we go the data collection, the entire planning, entire monitoring of SDG goals and other any kinds of thing, we are not talking about the university research here. Even it's a required in that field also. But data collection is first issue. Then it is the issue of the data process. So if the collection, the quality of data collection, the entire planning, entire monitoring of SDG depends on the data available and the quality and quantity of data. So data collection is a very, very important part. Until and unless we have the proper data, we are nowhere. Whatever discussion we are talking about the SDG, whatever discussion we are doing on that, but until and unless we have the solid data, quality data, not qualitative data, but quality data, and it should cover across the country, across the region. Even sometimes it's relevant to the cross-country data collection also required. It is not only that data collection should be within a country, because the sustainable development goals, I believe it don't have the, it's beyond border. So data collection for India may not be sufficient. It's until and unless we address the data collection in Bangladesh, because always there is even the border areas and the countries, the migration, the flow of information, flow of livelihood. So bordering countries are very much interdependent, and particularly the border region. So data collection is a very important. So till we have that data collection, I will discuss that major thrust of data collection is the centralized way. And most of the national agency, we have that, say for example, in India, we have that census, we have the national sample survey. Similarly, Bangladesh have the Bangladesh Bureau of Survey. So they are collecting data, but it is required. It's a required data collection. And now we have to think, when we are talking about the sustainable development goal, we have to think about data, how it can be cross-country, some regional kinds of thing, not within a country, not within a state. How we can think that? So this institution, the South Asia Institute of Sustainable Development, as such, as is an inter-country organization, we are thinking for that. Now we have to think for that how we can go for the data. So same issue how inter-region is a variation and others. So data collection I'm giving more trust, and this is the necessary. This is the foundation of that. Next is the data process. The data process, data collection nowadays, obviously with the application of computer, ICT application everywhere, the data process is going on. But again, there is a question of the data processing. The data processing until and unless that it goes to the common people, the local people, the rural people, or who are for whom we are thinking for the development. It's important how they can be part and parcel of the data process system. How it can be more easier or data processing. Whether it should be computer based, some statistical officer will deal with the data, or it is that it can be usable and useful for them. Similarly, the analysis of data. The analysis of data, no doubt, some lot of sophisticated softwares are there, but how it can be meaningfully reaching to the local areas. The localization, that's sustainable development goal, should reach to the local. Otherwise, it will be only discussion in the forum. It will be only discussed in the seminar, workshop. So-called academicians, so-called elite group like us. So it will be elite control. But what I am thinking for that, how this data itself, it can go to the local level in their hand. Later analysis. Different methods, like nowadays we are going for the participatory rural appraisal kinds of thing. A lot of methods are going on. The community involvement in data analysis is very important. Let them monitor. Let them monitor the SDG goal. It is not that the state level MIS based monitors and other is going on, but how it can be and it is also important the sharing of data, sharing of knowledge. It should not be kept in few hands. Again, I'm telling you, there is always inequality in data dissemination. The data which are already available and what we are going to collect another, it is being kept in some places, somewhere maybe, but it is the sharing till there is a problem of sharing of data. Whether local people can use this data, or the who are even the say for example some NGOs and other, they are doing the thing, but when they are asking for some data to say government department and other, they are facing problem. So there is a rigidity to sharing that. So sharing is again issue, and the use of the data, how we can go use the data. So all these five maybe interrelated. You can change somewhere, it may varies, but these are the five key issues related to data ecosystem, data related to SDG. But I thought to share with them. Now, I have gone through some literature. Obviously, I am not gone to each and every South Asian state. Rather, I gone through some literature available in the internet and other. And the major issues that came into the in this data dissemination. One is that most of the statistical or the SDG related data, it is always there is inadequate human resources. If you go to the any country, any statistical department or who are providing data, they are suffering with the manpower. No doubt suffering with the manpower, human resource, whether the quality of human resource or whether they're well trained on that or not, the inadequate human resources. And that there is a scope for the institution, what we are thinking, these two institutions, how we can make the capacity building on, mostly on these human resources, so that we have a better chance here to put our nose to make some support, to provide some support on that. Second is that data literacy. Data literacy is one important. Earlier we had literacy, in a legal literacy, we had literacy on the health, so many literacy, financial literacy. But now it's the time has come. If you are thinking for, we are thinking for sustainable development goal success, it is required the data literacy in various level, particularly in the down level, in the country level, local level, the data literacy. What is the meaning of those data? What is the actual meaning? It is not the per capita income. What does it mean by per capita income? If you ask to anybody in the grassroots level, hardly they are aware about what is per capita income. So how we can think for that? How this per capita income term, the GDP, okay? the life expectancy. These are the term. We are acquainted with this term. But how this term can be useful in the local level? Whether they can understand what is the meaning of the life expectancy, whether we can think for some alternative term or not, how it can be. So data literacy is very, very important. Until and unless you have the data literacy among the common people, even the local government, even the locally available NGOs and other, until and unless we have the data literacy on that, it is very difficult to collect the data, to analyze the data, to share the data. So data literacy one there. And another is that outdated data. Most of the cases that outdated data, say how we can we can change the data, we can update the data. So outdated data is one of the major issues. Once we have always referring from that period and that period, but the data mostly we are getting is outdated data. Second, another issue is the data collection methodology. Data collection methodology, even in the context of India, I can tell you that share this thing, the data can maybe the same feature to all of our other. So data collection methodology, sometimes we have to sub questionnaire, outdated questionnaire, time to time, whether it's we are upgrading or not, there is again question. And this data, we have to collect the data, we are going to each and every household and this, and we are collecting this information. Again, sometimes, say, for example, it's a population census. Again, one sort of people are coming for the health related data. Then another sort of people are coming for the agriculture related data. People are so much bored about this thing, so much repetition and this, but there is no integrating among the data. So data collection methodology, how it can be integrated data collection methodology? Whether we can go for the data collection methodology, I mean, several times, several sensors, different livestock sensors, this sensor, agriculture sensors, this, so many sensors, so many entrepreneurship sensors, it is happening. But how this can be integrated more lucid, more easily, friendly, and how we can involve the local or the available in the particular region, the universities, university students, university teachers, say NGOs activities, they have a good presence in the local, but we are ignoring. We are monotonously using our team, which is central government or any parts of government. So government officials, they are going 10 to 4 or 10 to 5 kinds of data collection, and that there is data, but there is a data, there is no life in the data. So some monotonous data we are collecting, but that data, whether it's meaningful or not, whether it's authentic or not, is a very, very questionable. So data collection methodology, entire data collection methodology, we have to think. So another issue is that data sharing. The data sharing, again, I am telling you, even for research, small academic research, when we go to that any office, they are hesitant to give the data, the sharing of data. You have to make RTI. You know, in India, we are sometimes we have to give an RTI for getting data. Several times we were no, our boss, we have to take permission from the boss. You give some requisition. Why it is there so many? So sharing data, government is hesitating when they are collecting data from people. But when people are asking for data, it is a government property. I mean, so much of monopoly on that, so much of bureaucracy on that approach, so much of centralization of data sharing. Nobody is ready until unless we share their data. And I'm telling you, sharing is not only with the government census or government level national sample survey or national sample organization, but in the data available in the various other organizations, which we are not sharing. Say, for example, few NGOs are working, they are collecting some study, but it is not available. They are not sharing. It becomes their own property. So neither they are sharing with the government, neither they are sharing to others. And so as a result, even the data sharing, we have something in our mind that some stigma kinds of thing in the sharing. But we should learn that data sharing is good for the sustainability. If we are really thinking for that, it's a required data sharing. How it can be very lucid, how it can be more transparent of data sharing. Next is obviously, as I discussed already, the hard centralized and bureaucratic approach. Starting from the collection to analysis to sharing, everywhere there is a control. How it can be common people, common property kinds of thing. The data should be in the common property. Everybody should use. Okay, sometimes you can talk about the national security. The national security may be in a different way. But when you are making a data, you are collecting a data and you are making the particularly purpose of this SDG or the purpose of planning, Why not it can be available? So this is one issue. It may be looked at. And lack of use of data. Even also, if you have the data, sometimes we are not using those data. We are trying to capture more data. Even any research we have found that we are going to parallel another sorts of research. But if that existing data are available, whether we can use those data systematically, that can reduce the cost, that can reduce the time and other. But until it is here, even it is very difficult for us. So from where I should start? What are the additional data I am looking for? Say for example, household level survey. Census has already done it. Age, these, that, family members and other. These are available. I am going for another study. Then again I am collecting the same information which is already captured. So how this data? Why unnecessary? I am going to waste my time, my resource, my energy, and also that who are providing data. Why we are going to waste their time, their resource and energy? So better this thing. So what are the resources are available already? What are the data are available? Let us use those, and from the which is the gap, I can go further my research specifically. So maybe in the each and every schedule we are going for some general information which is already available. So why not to take those data? And next is the legislative. So many legislative issues are there that we can't share this. There is a problem, and this. So altogether, it's important that legislative support from the institution on the government also, that regarding the collection, even sometimes we call ethical issues also, whether it's a requirement. So some legislative support for data and research is important. So these are the major issues. I'm talking from the experience, maybe a little bit from the literature review from various studies conducted by UNDP in various parts, conducted by other authors also. But these are the major issues what I tried to jot down. There may be many more issues you can add with that, but these are the major issues what I tried to share. Now there is also recently UNDP had made that with the issues that everywhere they have come out with some positive findings in the research. Okay, that I thought that I'm talking about the negative thing, but there are some positive things. That some positive things they have made that with their research. That statistical capacity, there is a change in the statistical capacity of different people who are dealing with the data, particularly in the government department. So various tremendous improvement in that is a very positive sign. The people are aware about that. A lot of training is going on. So it is one positive sign. Then they, from their study, they have also identified the progress is being the National Statistics Office and the government to improve the technical capacity and publish data periodically. That it is important that data is a continuous process. As I told you, it is not that once you have collected and after that no. So it is a require how the periodically, time to time, the 10 years back data. Say for example, there is a census in India, say 10 years back. So when they collect the data and when we get the report, it is almost 7 years. We have to wait for 7 years, then we'll get the census data. But in the 7 years, there are a lot of changes. But in our academic, and we are referring the 2000 census 2011, we are referring. But now I am working in 2020, but I am referring the data census 2011. There is a huge change. Every field there is a huge change. Lot of things. But still, so there is a chance. There is efforts are going on, and particularly SDGs are there. I can share in India that we are making in the Gram Panchayat level GPDP plan. I am sure that you may be aware about that. Gram Panchayat Development Plan, GPDP. Every village there is a plan. This is from the Minister of Panchayat Raj, the GPDP. So every year we are doing a planning, Gram Panchayat level, and that data is coming. Now this can be a very good source for India perspective, I am telling, maybe in the South Asian other countries. And every year we are getting. Only thing is in the data now from the last 2 years it is going to that, how the SDGs goal can be incorporated in the planning. So that we can get data not only planning on the any village or any area, but also we can get localized SDG related data, which can help us in the macro level SDG planning also to monitor the change over the time data should be published in the time frame. So that also came in the study that every country they are looking for and they are trying to do. Then level of academic program across countries has begun offering program like statisticals and other. Who will collect the data? Who will collect the data? So it is better that today we are here, a group of future generation, say student, no doubt about the student. They should be from very beginning, they should be acquainted with that data collection, each and every field, whether you are doing a research in rural development, whether you are doing a research in other subject, maybe in the history also. But every subject, there must be a research orientation related to collection of data, the proper methodology of collection of data. Because in future, they will join some organization, maybe in the government, whether non-government, is irrespective. But one research capacity, it's required from the university levels also. It is not that when they will join to the any department and start planning for the government department, or no. Orientation should be very beginning. So it's going on. And legislation and data, some legal framework on collection of data and sharing of data. As I told you, it is few countries already initiated and it is happening. But till there is a gap. Till there is a gap. And several initiatives have been launched across countries to open access. That I was mentioning. That is very, very important nowadays. Say, for example, we are in, I work in Tripura for a long time. I am right now in Assam. My family or my house is from West Bengal. All these three areas, but in the we are very much attached with the Bangladesh. But in the never bordering countries, if you see that the pattern, livelihood, and that culture, and other more or less same, and there is a flow, easy flow for the occupations, the migration, and other things. I have seen that in there is a migration as well as reverse migration, and this is very important. That when we are talking about the SDG goal, if you are thinking it should not be narrow in the country, it is required to share data cross country. The legal, even I can several times I used to go to in the Bangladesh, and I can see they will bring one newspaper from Bangladesh, or it is prohibited to bring a newspaper officially. In the border, there was a white newspaper. I don't know. That time I was in Bangladesh and Professor Yunus got the Nobel Prize. So I am from the field of microfinance. As mentioned that I am attached with Bandhan Bank for the long time. And that newspaper has a huge picture of Professor Yunus in the Bengali newspaper. So I thought that I will bring in my India. But in border, no, you can't carry this. So why? Because no, there is a problem. So they told them, no, I want to take this. Then okay, you take it in your suitcase and other, then it's okay. Otherwise, please don't do openly. So sharing of this. Now it is a time has come that cross-country data sharing must be there. Some legalities, some legal framework we have to develop if we are going to achieve SDG or other better research issues, cross-country issues, then it's important. And then nowadays everywhere, and then it is also important now ICT application. You know, now everywhere that MIS software has come, the ICT application, even the data collection, the GIS application also in the data collection and other, these are also important. So ICT, but UNDP report told that cross country there is also better ICT infrastructure is going on, and we can think for better data. This is my last slide. Some way forward where we can also, both this organization can also interact. Now next Sattu will come, so Sattu is ready for that. So way forward is that a dedicated but decentralized agency. It looks like different. It seems very different. It's very much. I am very much optimistic, but it's important. A data hub that should be dedicated for SDG and other things, but it will be decentralization, isn't it? It is not the centralized and bureaucratic agency where they will allow different researcher, independent researcher, agencies like this organization or the university, agencies like lot of NGOs or the private partner, they should be also allowed, yes, they should be allowed to contribute, to involve on that, but it should be somehow dedicated. So it seems that okay, decentralized and one agency may not be, but okay, we have to come out. The time has come. We have to allow people also to be part of that entire data system that involve general people and other stakeholders. Repeatedly, I told from the first slide, it's important because we are thinking development for them. So it is data is not our property, rather they will get the data. They have equal right to get all the data. And the stakeholder, almost all the stakeholders, as I mentioned, and disaggregated data. Data are there. Say recently we are doing another webinar localizing SDG. One issue has came, the disaggregated of data, say gender disaggregated data, not available. Data are available, but disaggregated data in various form like gender, maybe income, these are not available. So data, what they are think to publish, they are producing. But if you think that you will do something, work on the data, it is not available. So what the form they are giving, say if they share data on the Excel sheet or the digital form, you can do a lot of things on that. But you will get a hard copy data, what they feel they will publish on their own, you will get that data. So it is very difficult to do some further activity, further research activities. And then standardization of data at all level. What does it mean? It's not in the center. There should be in the all the level. There should be a equilibrium, a system, a structure where there will be a standardization. Standardization data when I am making in the central level, on the country level, it's okay. But what about the standardization data on the local level? When the local people will, say panchayat or local government, they will collect the data. What is the standard? No standard. Everybody is doing their own. So there should be a standardization of data as per the international goal of SDG. It's because all across the world it is happening. Every people are selecting, every countries are selecting their own indicator and this. And as a result, it becomes difficult. If you want to compare a village of India and one village in Bangladesh and one village in say Myanmar, it is very difficult as part of SDG because the data are not available. So how will compare? How will monitor the system? And then the capacity building, as I told you, all level, starting from the university student to other level also, capacity building. Here we can play a big role if we think. And the last part, the list, the local government. Maybe is my subject bias, it my discipline bias, but the local government and the local people need to be strengthened in their data management. Collection to sharing, each and every. So local government, I believe all the small village or local government, if that system is developed there, you can get better data in the country level, and then you can get the international level also, the globally. So with this, thank you very much.